It ties in well to another idea that Justin did a great job articulating, which is I kind of have a choice, right? Like I can go the loss aversion route and I can be very downside risk oriented. I can be so motivated by fear that I operate out of fear. Or I can look to a vision so strong and so inspiring, a purpose so transcendent that I'm just pulled by the power of that inspiration. And he talked about fuel and fear being this incredibly flammable fuel that he had used in his life to just get it done and to perform and to grow whatever it was he was doing. But the recognition, pardon, that it's not a healthy or sustainable burn. It's not a good kind of fuel. It's a fuel that ultimately damages the engine, if you will. And the desire to use inspiration as that healthy, clean fuel. So I'd love to know how you experience. I mean, do you experience clients coming to you more often because of the pain that they're in, or because they have a vision so strong that they need help achieving it?
Oh, typically pain.
That's right.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah,
Same here.
yeah, you don't get a lot of people that are super inspired going, "Hey, that's the mountain that I'm going to climb." You may get some because if you're wise, right? If you're Tom Brady, I don't know if you know who Tom Brady is. He's probably the best football player of all time. Okay, to go, right? I mean, Tom Brady is smart enough that he goes, "If I'm going to get there, I got to have a coach," right? But typically, it's pain that leads us to go get help. When you have that vision, when you have that powerful vision, you're going to figure like you're going to get there, right? That does sustain you, that does keep you going on the darkest night. Figure it out, put the right people in place. It is interesting. I think oftentimes if you have the vision, the results are going to take care of themselves potentially. Like if it's a real vision that you're really connected with, of like, that is where I'm going, the operations, the getting the right people, those things are going to happen, right? And I think oftentimes we trade that around. We put the cart before the horse, and we go, okay, I got to get all the right people in place, and blah blah blah. And, well, that stuff is important, but yes, the fuel that keeps people going, that I think is sustainable, is vision.
For you and
And
I, that's developing a many leaders,
right,
right?
yep,
Depending on the day, we're more indexed into what does it mean to develop. And on the next day, we're more indexed into let's hit 1 million.
right,
And I think that that's a lot of fun. That's a vision so strong that it prevents me from quitting on my hardest days.
sure, yeah, yeah, and that's what you need, right? If your vision was, I just got to keep food on the table, right? And it's based out of fear, or I just don't want to fail, which I've been there. And I too related a lot. I'm like, oh, I spent a good chunk of my life. And fear it will get you going. Shane Kuiper said this, like it will get you going. It just won't sustain you. Like it runs out. You get tired of running on uh, the, the dopamine hit of being anxious, but coming through. Like that's a real thing that I've
Or your
done.
body is just not,
No.
it just requires way, way too much rest in that state that it can't, like, I could work a 12-hour day doing stuff I love and have a
Mm.
massive amount of energy when I get home at the end of the night.
Oh,
Like I could
100%.
work a 7 to 5, what is that, 10,
Yep.
12 hours? I don't know, 5 to 5, do that frequently and get home and I'm like ready to play, ready to be
Yeah.
dad and husband.
Yeah.
But on the days where I just get it kicked in and I'm like exhausted, like it could have been an 8-hour day, but
Yeah.
because of what was, transpiring in that 8 hours. So I totally resonate with that. And I agree, like, and I've used fear and anxiety to get me through tough patches, but I've always come out of the end of that 60, 90, 180-day period, however long, feeling like horrible, physically, mentally, emotionally, completely depleted.
Yeah. I've done it for years, you know. You can do it for it's not that you can't do it. You can. Like you can. right? Like that's the thing. If you want to do it, and I would say it's easier because it is our default mechanism as people, right? If you went in scientifically, they'd say, well, fight or flight. We are wired to essentially look for fear and figure out how we're going to survive. But, you know, where we are today, I don't typically have to worry about death on a day to day basis. With the way you drive, I would if I'm in your car. But so it does work, but it's just not the best fuel, like you said. It will work, but eventually it's going to run out, and you're going to have a car with the engine smoking. And I've done it plenty of times. The engine's smoking, it's still not going. I'm going to put in a little bit more fear for the fuel there, and just try and keep going. And maybe I can scare myself a little bit more. And you can do that. You can hobble along forward. But if you actually want to make it down the freeway, if you want to get to your destination, if you want to do that and like actually enjoy it at the end too, because typically when it's out of fear for me, I get like relief, but I not joy. So well, Brad, we did have some other guests. I don't know
We
if you knew
did.
that.
We did.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think we're gonna have to do
yeah.
another one. I don't
That's
know that
fine.
I
I
don't
think
know
this
we're
is
gonna
great. Yeah, I think this is great. I think talking about conflict is super important. To me, what it's bringing up, honestly, is like, hey, we do a whole, and we probably should. 60% of your clients. I mean, I spent, so much time with so many of my clients talking about different conflicts with, you know, managers, employees, people, friends, family. Even my story at the beginning, there was a lot of conflict between me and my mom that had to be worked through. And like, how do you stay courageous in that? And then there's plenty of moments when I wasn't courageous, in our marriages. Neither one of us ever had any conflict. We don't have to worry about that sentence either because, of
That's
course,
because our wives aren't gonna listen to this, and
no,
we're extremely accommodating, and we do whatever we're
sure.
told.
Yeah, definitely. And we're always right, which is great and nice for us. All those things are great. Um, but I do think the importance of what is kind of percolating here, and so we'll call this lounge 10 with more to come, part 2 potentially. Um, but I think the interesting thing that is arising is like, man, how do we do things in a sustainable way? Conflict, what's the fuel that we put in our body? Like we could do 15 podcasts on both of those and not have enough. Like there's enough content in there. People probably would want us to talk to other people about it because I'm sure they get bored of our voices. But um,
Yeah, it's just amazing how even just even just confronting people with having to answer the question, hey, in whatever area of life, do you have the clarity to just in one or two sentences or actually articulate what you want?
right,
And a large majority of the time, people they have a picture of it in their minds when they close their eyes. They can imagine what they want and kind of like in a way that they watch a movie or in a way
sure,
that they look through a photo album. They can see something in their imagination for their future. But if they were required to actually turn it into a game and create a scoreboard and put a time frame around it and orient their decisions around it, that's a whole different way of being around your desires, right?
yeah, oh,
And that's
100%,
where very, very few people, have been trained and taught and equipped at how to do that, you know?
yeah. Yeah, if I was to ask most people, hey, I want you to tell me your vision, what you want for yourself, but do it like I'm a first grader and do it in under 30 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, great, I love that.
You should be able to do that, right? I mean, all of us should say it's palpable, it's tangible, it should be right there. It should be on the edge of my, but even myself included, like how often am I doing with that? And then connecting with that and then spending some time daily to go, okay, right? Am I in a business setting or in a nonprofit setting or in my family setting? Am I orienting myself towards that? Do my visions and do my values and my actions line up with my vision and on my march? It's just funny. We go, hey man, how did I get this far off? And I go, well, where was your aim?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Where was
It's
your
like, well,
aim?
it was like my aim was like
Yeah, I mean,
this.
it
It's
was,
not
so right. And it only
yeah,
takes like 1 degree to be
right.
off. You talk to some people that you go, man, how did you do it? And they go, man, well, my vision was super razor sharp. And it may have taken 10 years to figure out what my vision was, but that was important.